We go to the sad story of Olorato Mongale. Police, though, have made are making strides in terms of the arrest. They're looking for a third suspect that they have identified. And to speak to us about all of this, we are joined by the family spokesperson, the Mongale family spokesperson, Griselda Kananda. How are you, ma'am? Are you good?
I'm very, very sad, and that's my truth and reality. I know that as manner of speech, we would say I'm good.
No, absolutely. I was just about to say the same. I haven't spoken to you in a long time, so it happens at a time when we have to talk about this sad story. I think also what makes it more sadder is I was watching you on television. Just explaining that the strides that she managed to achieve and how focused and how independent she was. And some scumbags decided to take all of that away from us. How is the family coping thus far?
I was watching during today's memorial. This child lived out loud, and we had mixed emotions, a bit of laughter, tears, and when you keep asking questions, one of the nephews, it's not a nephew but a brother, because that's the sister's son, was saying that I hear you Christian people saying God is here even at this moment. I just want somebody to explain to me where is God now? What kind of God allows this to happen? And, when you're sitting there and you ponder on the question, that there's just so many unanswered questions as a human race where we find ourselves. We know that life doesn't belong to us. It belongs to our maker. But having to navigate with such things, because you have a child who just loved God with all her heart, who was present, who gave the best hug. Her smile was almost piercing in every picture that we have. Her smile is what greets you.
Absolutely.
And to end up like this, not that anybody deserves to end up like this, but we have so many unanswered questions as a family, and that's where we are now.
Absolutely. You are an activist, and you have been for the longest of time. Just yesterday, we were talking about the same issue on the show about the safety and the crime situation in our country, to say, most of us who have girl children, whenever your child says, I want to go to the mall with my friends, which is something that they should do, or I want to go to my friend's party, or whatever the case may be, the first thing that comes to mind is whether they'll make it back home safe. This is the country we live in today. And we have spoken about issues of safety and GBV for the longest of time, to a point where one wonders whether are we winning or are we taking one step forward and 3 steps back type of a situation, Griselda.
Or even 1,000 backwards. Because, I'm sitting there listening that the young people who are in the audience, who are celebrating the life that was Olorato, are talking about how vibrant she was, how beautiful a soul she was. And the men who stand up are advising women to be cautious on what they post on social media. And I sit there, and as you indicate, that the activist in me can't help but ask, why is it that our children now should be cautious and careful of monsters amongst us? Why aren't we talking to the monsters to stop violating women, to stop killing women? Why is our voice not elevated to speak to the perpetrators of these gruesome acts, and not only advise girls on what not to do? Worse, when you are going to say, don't post yourself, don't celebrate your achievements. What kind of world is that we're creating for our children?
But are we winning? You interact with a lot of politicians. I don't know if that's still the case. I'm sure this is one issue that they know you are passionate about. Yeah. Are you getting a sense that we are really making progress here?
For me, Thabiso, what saddens me is that the very same, one of the guys that was identified was once apprehended and he's out on bail.
Yeah, they were supposed to be in court next
me,
week.
How do you even record a win when such happens? The police do their best to apprehend these perpetrators, and justice system, as it stands right now, we are bound to be faced by some technicality of sorts where we find these monsters back in the streets. So it almost feels like you said, that we would take the 5 steps forward, but 1,000 backwards, because I just don't understand how we allow for such to live amongst us. And to me, it says we need to take it a step further, that it's no longer about politicians, it's no longer about the police service, but the communities begin to take charge of their lives, of their environment. I am incredibly proud of the community of Lombardy West, who, as they notice that, there's an activity that is abnormal in our area. Bodies are dumped there. We report this and really not much is done. And they rallied, paid money as a community, and cordoned off the access to the space where bodies are thrown. So to me, it says even Olorato would not have found her if the community of Lombardy West did not leave the space where they throw bodies accessible. So it's in each and every one of us taking up space, as Gozibini would say. Identify what it is that I can do as a citizen, as a father, as a responsible adult, as a human being. That we no longer point fingers on who must do what. Because right now, the people that we're looking for, there's somebody who's shielding them. The people that we're looking for, there's somebody who's calling one of the guys, my boyfriend, my husband, my partner, my son, my friend. And we call upon those individuals to take it upon themselves. And when we begin to heighten the challenges, and not only point fingers at who's wrong, but the challenges, we will begin to even see justice turning around, turning the tide, because they'll feel the pressure. Right now, the police have given their best to this particular case. Thanks to everybody who's retweeting, who's sending a message to your Thabisos, who's saying, let's talk about this on my show. And we put a spotlight on a pandemic amongst us, a scourge that is happening to us. And this puts the necessary pressure that we do not see Senzo Meyiwa alike type of cases where 14 years later, 15 years later, there's still no closure.
But you also raised an issue around how, particularly in this case, some of those that have been coming forward with the information have been interrogated to a point where they felt like they are suspects.
We witnessed this yesterday, and we're appealing to, we're told at the time it was the Hawks, where one of the guys who actually identified the body and alerted the community. The manner in which, I'm not one to be wanting to teach police officers or the security cluster on how to do their jobs, because thus far we are very satisfied with what has been happening. But what was not pleasant to experience was when a person comes to be apprehended, when you know there's a memorial service at his house where this body was apprehended. What message are you sending to the community that he communicated with, except to instill the fear of God that should you speak up, this is what will happen to you. So in trying to seek answers, let's also just be mindful. Remember that when I go and question X as one of the witnesses, let me not make them feel like they've done something wrong by speaking up.
Just as we round off this conversation, any details that you are willing to give us in terms of funeral arrangements and all of that?
So the funeral arrangement, as I did indicate, that we've just come from a memorial service, which was absolutely beautiful. It was her friends celebrating her all over the world. tomorrow at home at number 6 Mont Street in Baywater here in Bloemfontein. There's going to be a prayer service between 6 and 7. They did say that they're going to be strict on time because it's evening and Bloemfontein tends to be a bit cold.
Yeah.
And the funeral will be held between 8 and 11 on Sunday, the 1st of June, at the City Hall in Bloemfontein, which is, you find it at number 5 President Brand Street in Bloemfontein.
Griselda, thank you so much, ma, for talking to us. Difficult times indeed, and condolences to the family.
We are humbled and thank you so much for helping us spread the word. And South Africa is in your hands. Let's find them and take them off our streets.
Thank you so much, Griselda Kananda, Mongale family spokesperson.